Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. So there was a picture that surfaced about Barack Obama, and it showed him with Louis Farrakhan and with the congressional black circus clowns, a few of them. And my curiosity is, what would have happened had that picture been shown? Now, look, the speculation doesn't matter because it is what it is. I believe Barack Obama wouldn't have been elected president. I think a lot of the whites that, certainly from the conservative side, who were giving him the benefit of the doubt and thinking he was going to bring racial conciliation, would have abandoned him. I think a lot of leftists would have thought, not exactly what we want. And so it wouldn't have happened. So for whatever reason, God saw it in his providence to say, let's go ahead and let him be president. And I think at the end, it ends up benefiting us because we know what happened with all of the seats they lost and so on and so forth. And the Democrats are in big trouble going forward. Their name is going to be sullied, and it's going to take the efforts of people like us to continually do these things, to push these messages out. I was at an event, at a fundraiser, and we were talking about Tom Fitton, and a couple of big dollar donors said, I always donate to Tom. He does such great work. And Tom does a good work when he gets these FOIA requests and exposes these guys, these Democrats, for the cockroaches that they are. But there are other people out there doing things that are just as important. And so Tom can expose that they hid messages and things like that, but there's still a big marketing campaign through the media that allows the message of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama to still seem plausible. Like, they aren't bad people. They are bad people, and it needs to be exposed, but we're not doing that for some reason, and we've got to do a better job of that. So I hope that, this year for us, we are a marketing arm for the conservative movement. We're going to push out these messages about Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Pelosi, Adam Schiff, McCabe in the FBI, James Comey, Mueller, all of them. It's just going to be a constant barrage of these people are crooked, and getting that circulating so people can understand it. That's one of our missions. Because without that, we end up in big trouble. Now, I want to go back to this picture. So the picture was withheld. I think that's the bigger story, right? The idea that the guy that took the picture knew potentially, this is what I heard. I don't know much about it, but because it wasn't like an official White House picture or anything like that. He wasn't elected. But I'm told that Barack Obama knew of the picture and said, now look, this picture can't come out. Or maybe it was the author of the picture, the photographer, who said, I know what this picture could do, and I don't want to release it. And the reason why I find this to be very important is that if you can't showcase a person fully, you're lying about him. Now, we know Barack Obama's past is a lie. His ability as a president, everything this man has done has been fabricated. I mean, Barack Obama oversaw one of the worst, probably the worst economic period in American history. And it's ignored because they want to tell you, look at what he did for the stock market. Donald Trump's doing real things for the stock market. Barack Obama printed $1 trillion a year and grew the debt of America by $10 trillion. I want you to think about $10 trillion. That's 15 zeros. To be a billionaire could give 1,000 people $1 million. Okay? A trillionaire can give 1 million people $1 million. Think about that. 1 million people get $1 million for a trillionaire. So when you think about the scale of that, strip it back a little bit and just say $1 trillion and you can give 1 million people $1 million. So you can give 10 million people $100,000. Now I want you to think about America's poor families. Barack Obama could have given 10 million people $100,000 for the last 8 years. Just giving it to them. Ask yourself what that would have done for the economy. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about a guy who artificially, there's nothing Obama did that you can go, that's a permanent fix. Everything was artificial. He grew welfare, 16 million people. He faked the unemployment numbers by having the most people not looking for work, the least amount of workers in America, I don't know in history, but certainly in a long time. Lowered our credit. I could go on. And the only thing that propped him up was his ability to print money. A counterfeiter. No better fitting definition. When you think about what he did, a counterfeiter. That's exactly what he represented to this country. And the left love him. But here's the dirty little secret. They really don't. They really don't love him. And that's why Barack Obama held that picture. They didn't want you to know the truth about him. They didn't want you to know he was black-centric. And look, if Barack Obama had told people, you know what, when I get in here, I know you guys are expecting me to be this, bridge the divide between black and white, which quite frankly didn't really exist as much as it did in the past. But if he had said, you know what, I'm going to make my presidency about, it's going to be black-centric, I'm going to be focused on black issues, I'm not going to help them, but I'm going to give them the perceived help. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make them feel small. I'm going to make them feel less than what they are. That's how I'm going to do it. He wouldn't have been elected. I don't really care because it's over. But I just find it incredible that the left hang on to this. They really want this man to be canonized. The library that's being built where he's got nothing of himself in there. None of his past, none of his records are actually in there. Can you imagine if Donald Trump did a library and he said, I'm not going to put any of my writings, I'm not going to put my, the things that record me, that none of that's going to be in there. I can't even imagine the outcry. What's he hiding, man? We could be asking we still are. What is Barack Obama hiding? Barack Obama, in his presidential library, you will not be able to find his grades. I'm talking about high school grades. You won't be able to find his college transcripts. You won't be able to find the writings that he did in college, out of college, whatever. There will be no physical stuff. There'll be some digital things of his legislation and his speeches and all that crap, but there's not going to be anything there that will tell you more about him. He wants to remain a secret even after his presidency. That should tell you a lot.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.